Hello there, it's Wednesday the 20th of February 2013. Welcome along to today's United Kingdom Talk, and we're in the garden for the first time this year. It's a beautiful sunny day. I thought, why sit in the studio when you can go in your lovely garden? So here we are, surrounded by nature, and if you hear carefully, listen, the birds are singing. Huh. Can you hear that? Nothing better than sitting in the garden. I love it. And we've got a little bit of warm weather at the moment, so that's why we're out here today. Continuing with our many emails in the show today, I have to tell you, my little visit to the hospital last Friday when I looked at bones. They're doing bones. I can't remember what she said it was, but something's inflamed. That's kind of just above the ear there, and it goes down the back there. And this lady was prodding away and doing bits and pieces. And there was an older bloke watching her. I think she might have been a trainee, but never. Well, she was a trainee, but she's very near the end of her course now, apparently. And the bloke came to sit in and watch. Anyway, so she was kind of prodding around. Is it there? No, it's not there. No, it's not there. First of all, you go in. And she's got this, like, you know, little mini booklet in front of her, and they ask you all these questions about where the pain is and what have you and all that business. And then she goes out and talks to someone else, I guess the guy that came in with her. Then she comes back and the guy comes in with her, the older bloke, and they said, do you mind if I sit in with where... I can't remember her name now. I said, no, that's fine. So he sat in there, and she started prodding away. Is that it? No, not like that. And she wasn't very forceful with the pushing, you know. So she kept this up for a few minutes. And then the chap says, do you mind if I have a little look? And she said, no, not at all. Is that all right with you, sir? I said, yep, no problem at all. He came straight over, pushed something where my neck is, you know, quite, I wouldn't say hard, firmly. I said, that's it. And her mouth dropped open. She said, well, how did you know that? He said, from the answers that he gave, from the questions you gave, I knew exactly where it was. And he did. The trouble is, from that moment on, you want him to deal with you. You understand what I mean? I know that everyone has to learn, but I thought, oh, I wish she was dealing with me. But I didn't say anything at the time. Yeah, bless her. She has to learn. Anyway, so she kind of moved my head left and right and doing stuff like that. And she says, I might jerk your head a couple of times and you'll hear a click. Okay, so I just, and all of a sudden she went like that, and she went like that. But there was no click. I was so disappointed. You know, like when you watch those TV shows like ER and Casualty on the telly, and they do that thing and it click. There was no click. I was very, very disappointed, but there we are. And that was last Friday. I've got to go again this Friday for a second appointment, and we'll see what happens. Has it got any better? Do you know, I think it has. I think it has actually got a bit better. It certainly hasn't been so bad driving home the last few days. Do you know, that sun's right in my eyes? Perhaps I should have had sunglasses on today. No, we'll sit out in this beautiful sunshine and have a chat. So that was my bones visit, and another visit this Friday, so I'm looking forward to that. Got a new cat. It's been very quiet this week everywhere in the clubs and the pubs that I work in. Bit quiet everywhere this week. I've got a brand new karaoke starting this Saturday every other week. I'm doing a karaoke back in Hammersmith, where I haven't been now for about a year and a half. So back in Hammersmith, karaoke every other week, including this week. So that's the 23rd, yes, Friday the 23rd of February 2013. Do join us on Saturday night for karaoke at the Laurie Arms in Hammersmith, which is actually only 2 doors away from Belush's. There's Belush's, there's an old Hammersmith Palais, which is an old nightclub that I used to go to in my 20s, actually. And then there's the pub next to that, and it's at the Laurie Arms every other Saturday, starting Saturday the 23rd, this Saturday, between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. So looking forward to that. I've got lots of emails to read out, also on the iPhone. What happens, you see, if I download something on the iPhone, it then comes off the computer, but it stays at the server, and I get confused. That's why sometimes I accidentally read out emails twice, because I've kind of printed them off in 2 places. It's very confusing. It's much easier with a producer, you know. Perhaps you'd like to be my producer, would you? Do you mind if I go and get my sunglasses? Because it's It's difficult seeing you. It really is difficult seeing you today. No, I'll persevere. We'll persevere. First of all, there's this story that I spotted in the Mail, Daily Mail, the end of last week, I think 15th of February. A British tourist, this was in the Daily Mail, as I say, British tourist told yesterday of his flight of terror when he claims an emergency exit on a Super Jumbo blew open at 27,000 feet. Yeah, he was on one of those Emirates. Now, you know Emirates. Now, they've got a really good name. My best mate, Ron, and his other half, Andy, they think the world of Emirates, you know, they think it's like a little bit even classier. They think it's so top class and all that. Well, it was an Emirates Airbus, apparently. An Airbus A380. That's the really huge, enormous planes. I've been driving along on occasions, and one of these has flown over. You know, they are massive. They are absolute monsters, the Airbus A380. I'd love to go on one. But anyway, this bloke feared a bomb had gone off after hearing a massive explosion 2 hours into their flight on the brand new £250 million Emirates Airbus A380. Ever so big, those planes. Freezing air blasted in, and the cat, it's like my house. You know, whenever the cat wants to go out, she pushes that little door open that she goes into. Freezing air blasts through the entire house. It really does. Freezing air blasted in, and the cabin pressure plunged after the door in business class, dear. Business class came 1.5 inches ajar, leaving a gaping hole. God's sake, that's where I fly. Upstairs. Could have happened. No, it wouldn't have happened on the Boeing, dear. No, I went on a Boeing 747 to New York, thank you. And there's a little explanation here. And it says, an open door in an aircraft is a serious emergency because it leads to a sudden loss of cabin pressure. Oxygen levels inside the plane have to be carefully controlled because the atmosphere gets thinner. So the higher you go up, you know, it must be, I suppose, more difficult to breathe. If there's no oxygen out there, is it? You know, it must be like an entire plane having an asthma attack here. A bit like that, yeah. Cabins of planes cruising above 12,000 feet. Well, when did this happen? How high was it going? 27! Anything going up to 12,000 feet are kept pressurised to mimic conditions at around 6,000 and keep up the levels of oxygen. A sudden rush of thin air from outside can cause passengers and crew to experience ear and stomach pain, or even black out, dear. Oh, it's frightening, it's frightening. Rob Hunter of the British Airline Pilots Association said for a door to open for a significant gap to appear is extremely rare. Oh, I love the story. Look at this. Can you just imagine being on this plane? You know, as passengers wept in terror. I bet they were screaming their heads off. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, dear. Yeah, I watch things like Airplane and I start laughing. It's terrible, isn't it? As passengers wept in terror, a petrified stewardess ran down the aisle and screamed, "The door's going to go," before cowering behind her seat. Oh, well, she's a load of bloody good, isn't she? Aren't they supposed to be walking around making people feel a little bit better about themselves? Eh? Well, I mean, what? She went and hid behind the chair. I used to do the same when the Daleks came on Doctor Who, to be honest. You know, I did. Instead of making an emergency landing, the crew decided to stuff blankets and pillows stuck together with gaffer tape into the hole and continue the flight, despite a horrendous droning noise and sub-zero temperatures. Oh, it must have been blooming cold on there. Oh, God. Let's see. Other passengers were crying and saying, "We're going to go down, we're going to go down." Oh, I wish I was doing a show up there. That would have got the viewers in, wouldn't it? You know, we're lucky to get 100 people watching this or listening to this show. We are. The conditions were terrible for the rest of the flight. The door continued to make a horrendously loud droning sound, which made it impossible to sit next to each other and hear each other. Terrible. Let me see. He said the cabin crew closed the curtain between business class to stop those in economy cabin class discovering what was happening. Oh, they wouldn't have coped in economy, I'm telling you that now. Oh, they would have gone mad. screaming and fighting. Oh no, please don't go on those economy seats, dear. You've got to save the money and sit in the nice seats. You have. It's the only way to do it, dear. If necessary, you know, if you're going on holiday, I would highly recommend that you pay for the more expensive plane seats and get a cheaper hotel. Absolutely. It's much better. So there we are, a little plane story for that. It's frightening, isn't it? I can't see myself going on a plane for a while. I really can't. Now, on the same subject of aeroplanes, you remember a couple of weeks ago I mentioned ice on the wings of planes, and, you know, I understood they remove the have to remove the ice, don't they, before a plane takes off. And I couldn't understand it, because surely the ice gathers on the wings as it's flying. You know, do you see what I mean? And no one's up there to remove it. Anyway, Richard writes in, Richard, OK, ice on the wings has to be removed, otherwise it changes the shape of the wings and reduces lift. So I suppose it's harder to get off the ground with the ice on. Is that about right? But when you are up there, the de-ice system built into the wings does it either by booms, air-filled cushions, or heated wingtips. Hope this helps. And that's from Richard in Croydon. So thank you for that, Richard. I know you sent that in a couple of weeks ago, but we are way behind on the emails at the moment. How wonderful, you know, heated wingtips. Heated, I could have those on. Wouldn't that be good if we could have that on our hands? You know, in the, like the very cold winter when you got gloves on. I've noticed sometimes when you have gloves on, your fingers still get cold. Have you noticed that? I need heated gloves, just like they have on the planes, I think. Yes, we'll have to find something like that. Hello to the cash alerts who say, how fantastic, Chris from New York. Only just started watching, but glad you got there safe. Well, I'm home now. You're home now, and I think you've sent in another one since then, haven't you? Let me just check. Oh, yes. Also from the cash alerts. Great to see you back, Chris in England. Love your shows, so thank you for those. All right, we do. I don't like to leave our emails, even when they're old. Ian says, and as I say, I might have read these out already, I'm not sure. Ian says, one of your most entertaining shows, Chris, was the one from New York. You have to look at Getting Lost, because I told you about I get lost, and I got lost in New York at the subway. Terrified. Oh, so bad I had to go back to the hotel. You have to look at Getting Lost as being an adventure. It's like doing a crossword puzzle. What did you do with the half puzzle, the half pizza that you did not eat the first time that you got the whole one? I left it there. I just walked away and left it. I have read that one, haven't I? Yes. So thank you for that, Ian. Let's have Marj. Where's Marj's nice long email? Oh, Marj, where are you, darling? It's here somewhere. Stay there. Don't move. Ah, there we are. Marj says, hello, Chris. I'm happy to see you made it okay to New York. Such an adventure you had, I bet. It's not been cold here in Oklahoma, up in the 70s. Oh, you lucky thing. It weren't anything like the 70s in New York. It was about 20 odd, which is minus 5 or 6 centigrade, I think. Too bad Barry Manilow didn't have his show here for you to see. I'm the same. When it comes to getting lost, you sound so much like the experiences I have when I try to Oklahoma City, and that's not even close to New York. I have the same feelings, not just of getting lost, but having the idea that someone will mug me or something. Yeah, I think that's really how I feel. I mean, it really is. My mum always said, if I could not find my way out, that I could not find my way out of a paper sack. That's an old-timer's saying. Oh, no, I think you're right. I'm exactly the same, Marj. I have a very, very bad sense of direction. Very, very bad. I can barely get directions here when I live where I live and not get lost. You seem to have the same thing with machines as I do as well, and putting water into the machine after turning it on is a bit exactly what I've done. Oh, right, like the coffee machine. The coffee machine which kind of exploded water all over the hotel room. I still think we're either of the same family or the same gene pool, Chris. It's why I keep coming back to watch the show. I feel like family. Oh, that's nice. Only thing is, I would never be able to afford shopping like you did. I could get a similar cap at Walmart for about $5, I imagine, and $70 for a shirt? No way, she says. Even at $35, that's way too much for my budget. But I know it's good quality stuff you're getting, of course. If it was me, I'd be at a garage sale. I've gotten purses like you showed for about $1, maybe up to $5. If it was really nice, yeah, but that was for my sister. I don't mind spending presents on my family. Don't mind. I don't care what that sort of thing costs if I've got the money. See, rich people buy that stuff and they get tired of it and it's not worn out, and let us poor people buy it there in their garage sales. But you're sweet to get for your family, things like that. Only if it me, I wouldn't want you spending so much money, and yes, I know, like to do that, yeah. She says, I don't know of any Starbucks close to me, but maybe over at Laughton, which is about 45 minutes drive where she lives, and I agree on the wastefulness of the plastic forks with sweetener, etc. Yeah, it's just, you know, in the hotel room, there were lots of little packets, and in this packet, and you open it and there would be a spoon, a serviette, you know, a paper towel thing, there'd be 2 packets of sugar, 2 packets of sweetener, 2 packets of powdered milk stuff, and I was using the milk stuff and throwing the rest away. Terrible waste. Why do they separate everything out like that? And I don't understand why everything has to be in a plastic bag as well. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I go to Sonic for breakfast, and the girl hands me 5 packages of strawberry jam for my 1 sandwich. I just hand her back the 4 packages. That's a waste. I don't care if she gave it to me. No, I agree with you. It's like when I go to, even here in the UK, to McDonald's for a cup of tea, you know, and they give you like, they bring up and then they give you about 4 packets of sugar and 4 milks, and I just need the 1 milk, please. Oh, okay, well, do you want the rest? No, that's okay. And I hope that they put them back for other people. I just dreadful feeling they'd just chuck them in the bin. It's such a terrible waste. I hate waste. Marj says, while you were in New York, I wasn't sure you were going to do a video, and I woke up at 12 midnight on Tuesday night, had some caffeine till late in the evening, so having problems going back to sleep, and saw you had indeed uploaded a video. Well, of course, listening in, I fell promptly back to sleep. She says, no, actually, I did make it through the entire clip. I'm now sending you this email before returning back to sleep. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do listen or watch my shows, and it does help them go to sleep. It really does. Perhaps there's a marketing thing there, I don't know. I thought about Harry Potter movie and a 9 3/4 platform train, and you not finding your way to get on the train. Just sort of popped in my head when you said you couldn't find the right place to go. I would be scared the same way, but I would, of course, have donated to the bum, of course. But I would have donated to the bum, of course. I don't get that. Is that an American... No, it must be an Americanism. I don't get that at all. I'm just trying to work it out. Couldn't find... I would be scared the same way, but I would have donated to the bum, of course. No, Marj, you've got me with that one. She says, well, eyes are droopy now. Thanks for the videos and your adventure to New York City. Look forward to more, and you be safe. Hope you had a happy birthday, and I did see some more wrinkles and dark circles under your eyes. Actually, the lighting was kind of spooky but neat. Oh, that was the lighting in the hotel when we did the show there. It was pretty bad, that light, wasn't it? Fly over Oklahoma on your way home and wave us, Marj. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, God. We're sneezing away. Thank you very much for that, Marj. Nice to hear from you, my darling. Now, let's have a look. Where are we going to now? Oh, it's Matthew Martins. Hello, Matthew. Matthew in Canada. Hello, Matthew. Oh, by the way, Marj, thank you very much for your $5. I'm pleased to report that I did use it, in fact, in McDonald's for some chips and an apple pie, I think it was. What else did I have? Oh, and a cup of tea. And a cup of tea. That come to, I think it was about $5, something like that. So thank you very much for those $5 that you sent. Talking to people who sent things in, I must thank a big, big thank you. This arrived. Look what arrived. Yeah. Someone sent this to one of the pubs I work in, and I opened it and I thought, oh, it's very light. And in it is a lovely little box. And someone's put on there, I don't know what they've used, some sort of special pen on there. And it's actually raised from the paper, and it says, Happy Birthday, Chris. It's beautiful. This little box is handmade from blue and green sort of stiff paper, almost card, but not quite card. Inside, can you hear? Inside are little miniature birds that have been made out of bits of paper. There are 3 green ones, little birds, 3 green ones, and there are 2 blue ones, tiny little birds. And this is one of the most beautiful things, I think, I have ever received. Now, inside, you open it up and it says, Happy 50th birthday, Chris. And then the United Kingdom Talk logo has been made in like glitter and very carefully. And there's some writing on it which I'm going to read you out. This is just so beautiful. Happy 50th birthday, Chris, to our favourite talk show host and friend. Hope you had a wonderful birthday seeing your favourite singer. We love you lots. Keep up the work and what's that say? Cheerio. And that's love you from Jennifer. Thank you very much, Jennifer. And also from her daughter, a little message here. Happy birthday, Chris. I hope that you're having a great 5th decade alive, as well as having a great time in New York seeing Barry Manilow. So I hope that you had a great 50th birthday, and that's from her daughter, Dallas. Underneath where Dallas has, I think Dallas and Jennifer have made the United Kingdom Talk logo. It's done ever so well. I shall keep this. I will absolutely keep this. It says, P.S. Flag is to scale of the one on your studio, except for the lettering. Didn't have a choice in that. Have a great 50th birthday from Dallas. And as I say, she's made the United Kingdom Talk logo in like sparkly, glittery type stuff. And it's just such a wonderful, wonderful little gift that you make me. And I've always said, I'm just going to put my little birds inside there, and that is going to go on my mantelpiece in the living room, because I'm just so touched by that little thing. And I've always said to people, the best presents that you can get, holidays, you know, Christmas, birthdays, anything like that, I always think perhaps you don't realise this until you get to a certain age. It's the best presents you can get are presents that someone has made with their own hands. The value of something, the financial value of something that you receive for Christmas or birthdays or anything like that shouldn't come into it at all. The thought that has gone into this little homemade box really has touched me, and thank you so much, Jennifer and Dallas, for this little present, you know, carefully made out. It's just perfect. Carefully made out. A couple of bits of green and blue card, and the little green and blue birds inside, and the writing, the glitter, you know, the little bit of painting you've done there. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. This is one of the best things anyone has ever sent me. Similar things people have sent over the years. Suko in New York has sent me bits and pieces that she's made. Comes to mind, cookies. She makes Christmas snowball cookies, and she sent those a couple of years running. Wonderful to receive something that someone has made. Millie in Minnesota has sent stuff. Tom has sent stuff. Marj has sent me a little $5 thing. But you cannot beat, you absolutely cannot beat something that someone has made for you. You really can't. So thank you ever so much for that. I really, really do appreciate that, Dallas and Jennifer. All right, my darlings, thank you. Okay. Oh, what's the time? Let's have a quick look at the time. Thank you. Time. Well, I can't see it. The sun's so bright on this. Oh, we've got loads of time, haven't we? Got loads of time. What is the time anyway? Checks on the clock. Okay. Hello to Matt in Canada, who says, hello Chris, hope you're doing well, sir. It's been a while since I last wrote in, and an email from me was definitely overdue, wasn't it? Yes, it was. You know, 1 minute you're there, then you're not there, then you're here. I think a shadow is about to cast over me as the sun disappears behind the trees, actually. I might have to move. Shall I move a bit? Let's move a bit so we stay in the sunshine. Bring me sunshine, bring me smiles, bring me laughter, all the while. Matt says, well, I've got a long one to make up for it. I'm happy to receive that you received the Christmas card that me and my fiancée Heather sent you. I was wondering if that mailing address is one that can be used to send you things in the post all year round. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I will give you the mail address if anyone wants to send a letter in, or postcards, or perhaps pictures of where they live. It's always lovely to receive things in the post. And Jennifer and Dallas, obviously a little box like this, beautifully made, carefully packaged. It didn't get crushed at all. But nevertheless, although it weighed nothing, it still cost them $9 to send that. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of money. Anyway, so I'll give you the post address after your email, Matt, okay, just in case anyone wants to send anything in, all right? I wanted to let you know that I really do admire the New Year's resolutions you have for 2013, and in particular, the one about wanting to be a better person all around. I have moved right into the shade now, haven't I? We're going to have to move around. Just a minute now. Move around in the sunshine. Incidentally, those of you watching the show, we'll have to move the camera as well. Those of you watching the show, I have to tell you, I've got a grey jumper on today. Okay, and my best mate Ron says, this is the worst, he says, it's the worst item of clothing that I have ever bought in my life. Isn't he rude? He really is very rude, Ron. I don't know what his problem is sometimes. He's supposed to have bought me a couple of jumpers for my birthday, so I'm waiting for those to arrive. They haven't arrived yet. They better arrive, otherwise he won't be getting anything for his birthday. His is in April. He's going to be 40. Oh, such an old person, isn't he? I personally feel that all of us should include that one each and every year, as we should make bettering ourselves a high priority all throughout our time on this earth. I share many of the same resolutions as you do this year, and I know that we have the power within us to make them happen. Yes, I'd like to be, I really would, I'd like to become a better person this year, Easier said than done, easier said than done. I can't recall if I mentioned in a previous email, but I wanted to let you know that this is the year I'm getting married. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna shine. Da, 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 and get me to the church on time. Love it. The wedding will take place on October the 5th, just outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And on March the 23rd, we're having something called a wedding social, which is something you may or may not have heard of. In case you haven't, basically, it's an event held in a large community centre where people from the families of the couple, as well as their friends, and people from the community all come together for a large social gathering, generally consisting of about 500 people. Oh, that's a big do, isn't it? All those attending pay $10 each for cover charge and then buy drinks tickets for about $3 a drink. The couple purchases all the alcohol in bulk quantities, and profits from both cover the charge, and drinks go towards paying for the wedding. I've never heard of this. We don't have such a thing here in the UK. What a good idea. In addition to this, the couple get prizes donated from businesses in the community and then sells tickets for those prizes at the social as well. It's a fantastic way to help pay for a wedding. I found out that here in Canada, the average wedding costs upwards of $20,000. Oh, dear me. We're having an extremely basic wedding with about 120 people attending, and even that is costing us $12,000. It's a lot of money to get married, isn't it? Eh? I mean, talk about taking the piss. Do you know if weddings in the UK are dear? Oh, I think they are. I think they are expensive, you know. By the time you've hired the hall, paid for the entertainment, it's the catering, I think, that's expensive. I think the catering is really expensive. I know you mentioned a few shows ago that some DJs are charging like £400 just to do the music. That's outrageous in my opinion, and it works out to roughly $625 Canadian. You must be having a laugh. We are going to be getting a DJ for about half that for our wedding, yet somehow we are still left with a huge bill for the rest of the services. Yes, yes indeed. I found a mobile disco group on Facebook which I joined just to keep an eye, and quite honestly some of the prices they charge it astounded me, to be honest, but they are absolutely full of bullshit. A lot of the DJs on there are full of bullshit, on there telling each other how they're worth it and how wonderful they are and how they've worked here and how they worked are, and quite frankly I think they're taking the piss. If I was doing a wedding for someone I don't know here in the UK, right, the absolute tops I would charge would be about 200. The absolute tops. I wouldn't have the audacity to charge any more than that. Generally, a Saturday night for me is somewhere between 160 and 200. That's a generalisation. But anything more than that, and I think you're ripping people off. I really do. You want to see these people on that mobile disco site? They are full of it. Absolutely full of it. I don't really comment on there. I just keep an eye on what's going on. They're really full of bullshit, all of them. We're going... in your January the 9th show, oh, that's a while ago now, you mentioned that you've noticed that more and more companies, such as British Gas, are posting their profits and running it in everyone's faces. Where they do. They come on the telly full of glee and smiling and all this and tell us happily how much they've made out of us all. I mean, it's a joke. I agree with you on your thoughts about how utterly disgusting that is. In my opinion, if they want to be throwing those numbers out there, they should instead be talking about refunds that they may want to offer their customers, seeing as companies like that are considered an essential service. And shouldn't there to be make profit margins as high as they are? Well, they used to be. I'm going back now to the 70s and 80s, well, before the 80s, before these companies were privatised, they were a public service. And quite frankly, I think things like water, electricity and gas should not be run for profit. I really don't believe these things should be run for profit. They shouldn't be, but they are. Also, a few shows ago, you touched on the subject of hiring employees to work at businesses where they deal with the general public. I fully agree with your idea that interviews should be done to test to see whether or not a potential new staff member can even hold a proper conversation. Isn't it sad how we seem to have lost touch with that part of so many people? Let's hope that one day these companies will implement a process like that during the hiring of new people, because they all seem to concentrate on these CVs, you know. You send the letter in, oh, I've done this, this and this. And if you write a CV, you've got a good chance of getting the job. The trouble is there are very, very good people out there who can talk to people, but maybe are not so clever on the writing skills, and they're the ones that can't get jobs. There's a lot of young people that I know who either come to my when I'm DJing or karaoke nights or quiz nights. These are good people, good young people who are lovely people, who have got intelligence. If you showed them how to do something, they would do it, but they can't get the job because they can't get the CV right. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. It really is. On your January the 30th show, you had brought up the subject of England becoming independent once again and getting away from the failing system of the European Union. Yes, well, I hope so. I hope that will happen soon. Here again, I fully agree with your views on this. I heard a few years ago that there was talk of Canada, the US as well as Mexico joining together to become the North American Union. But after writing a letter directly to the Prime Minister of Canada, I found out indeed it was not true. But I couldn't imagine Canada not being independent. I feel it provides a great strength to be independent as a country. I do as well. You know, we don't want to all be the same, do we? How boring would that be? It would just be really boring to all be the same, wouldn't it? I think it would. He goes on, I just finished watching your February the 6th show. I'm glad to see that your trip to New York was going well, apart from the incident at the train station. Oh, God. Please don't remind me. I hated it. I was so worried and... Oh... Judging by your pictures and videos on Facebook, it also appears that Barry Manilow was brilliant as always. You can't fault him. You cannot fault Barry Manilow, and I've made some new friends as well. A few Fanilows are now watching and indeed joining in for the show as well, which is great. Finally today, I wanted to give you an update on the weather in my part of Canada. We have had snow every day for the last 2 weeks, how awful, and our temperatures have been approximately minus 30 degrees centigrade. Minus 30 centigrade. How do you go about business like that? Do you even leave the house? Oh, I couldn't survive in that. And with the wind, it felt more like minus 45 most days. God's sake. I'm looking forward to spring, as you can imagine. And one thing I've learned is to never take good weather for granted. As always, Chris, thanks for taking the extra time today to read out this longer email. I appreciate it. By the way, be sure to keep checking my Facebook wall if you ever need to bring some positive thoughts into your day. You're in my thoughts and prayers each and every day, and that's Matt from Canada. And indeed I do. Matt, I do see your posts on the Facebook, my friend. I see them all the time. They're very, very positive thoughts that Matt puts on his Facebook. I do have... what's the time? Let me have a look. I think we're going to wrap this up now. Yeah, we're going to wrap up now, boys and girls. I have some emails waiting here from James, our good friend James. Also, Robert in Iceland has started writing a blog. So I'm going to be reading that out as well, boys and girls. One here from Jonathan as well. And another bit there from... Oh, it's one from Suko and another bit from Robert there. And we'll carry on with those in the next show, boys and girls. Just one final one very quickly here from Wendy Young. Wendy Young is a Fanilo. She's another Barry Manilow fan. Huge Barry Manilow fan who recently discovered us on the Barry Manilow wall on his fan club. We put a little link to the show that we were talking about Barry and all that. So she's joined us from that. And Wendy says, loved the show again this week, Chris. Thanks for sharing our chats and email from my friend Cheryl. So glad you edited mine a little. just a bit. I thought you might want me to, my darling. All right, Wendy. Thought you might like to watch this, girls. Great stuff and lots about our Barry. So thank you very much for Wendy. And it's always appreciated, you know, if you can ever copy and paste the link to the show and put it on your Facebook wall, you know, the more the merrier. All right, nearly time to go. This show is also available from on iTunes. If you've got iTunes, can you hear that dog barking? Well, I hope it's not having a go at my cat. Katie, where are you? She'll be asleep upstairs. I've noticed she sleeps a lot now, Cat. She sleeps. She sleeps. She eats. She cuddles. She sleeps. She sleeps a lot now, ever since the operation. I guess that's just because she's quite old now, but she's got a few years left, and I hope so. Anyway, yes, you can find this show on iTunes. If you just go open up your iTunes and type in United Kingdom Talk on the podcasts search thing or whatever it's called, you should find a couple of versions there. You'll find an audio version and a video version and just subscribe to the one that you want there. Okay, boys and girls. Now, more people are now watching the show than just listening. However, if you do find that you just want to listen, because some people I know, they download the show and listen in the car or something like that, because you don't always need the visuals, you know. You can do that as well. Go to the main, as I say, on iTunes, or you can download directly either the video or the audio again by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Also on that part of the site you'll see all the old shows there as well. I do have Facebook. My Facebook username is facebook.com/Chris Reardon UK, and Twitter as well. My Twitter username is also Chris Reardon UK. All right. Finally, the email address. Anything you've got to say, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Well, the sun's gone in now, past those trees, so I'm going back inside where it's a bit warmer. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.